another astonishing case of cancel culture on campus. Men's rights advocate Bettina Arndt was invited to join a Conservative Club panel at Sydney University discussing the Brittany Higgins, Bruce Lerman case and related issues. Then, out of the blue, the invitation was withdrawn. I asked Bettina Arndt why.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a mystery because I've sent them a series of questions asking why this was decided this way and no answers. I think they're nervous of me, nervous of this 74-year-old grandmother who seems to strike fear in the hearts of Sydney University students, which is a bit of a worry, isn't it?
It is a worry. They were trying to shout you down last time you were speaking there, people saying you shouldn't be able to talk there. But the issues you talk about are so important and you bravely bring them up all the time. In essence, what you're saying is in this Me Too era, we can't believe all women any more than we would believe all men. You've got to treat all sorts of allegations of sexual assault on their merits, and they've got to be adjudicated not by universities and the like, but by the criminal justice system.
We had this old-fashioned notion of a presumption of innocence, which has been severely undermined in recent years. And, you know, the Brittany Higgins case is classic. And this event I was supposed to be speaking at was simply a discussion evening looking at all sorts of aspects of the Brittany Higgins case, the role of the media, the impact on, you know, the way it was used to try to damage the government, a whole lot of stuff around that case. And I was just one of a panel of other people who are well qualified to speak. But I was the only one who they insisted on cancelling at the very last moment. I mean, I was invited in January, and suddenly this week they pulled the plug.
Yeah, it's problematic. Now, we know there's all sorts of legal issues around this because we know that Brittany Higgins accused Bruce Lerman of rape. We know that was investigated. We know Bruce Lerman's always maintained his innocence. The trial was aborted. The charges were dropped. So none of us knows who was telling the truth here, be it Brittany Higgins or Bruce Lerman. That all's left to one side. But we still have to be able to talk about whether these things should be processed properly through the criminal justice system rather than through the media. And we've got to be able to debate those issues and the political aspects of this, which have become apparent and are still playing out. We've got to be able to discuss that, don't we? Especially at a university.
Well, you would have thought so. And these lovely young women who approached me from the Conservative Club, I mean, they did an enormous amount of work putting together very detailed discussion points for this event. And they were very thoughtful presentation. I was very, really pleased to be involved. And it is just extraordinary that they suddenly decided I was too dangerous to allow near the campus.
Yeah, it's a problem, isn't it? Especially when people are so sensitive about sexism and hearing from a female's point of view. You're obviously a female, but they don't like your point of view, so they don't want to hear from you?
Well, who knows? Who knows? I mean, it is interesting because, of course, the last time I was speaking at Sydney University, I was invited by the same club, this Conservative Club. They were extremely brave then because the feminists went out in force, tried to stop me being allowed to speak. And, the Vice-Chancellor was really useless and unhelpful. And they had weeks of abuse, and they stood up at that event, and we ended up having to call the riot squad in to protect the audience, and so it went on. This actually led to an inquiry called by the government into free speech on campus and to eventually some laws being implemented to that effect. This does suggest they're not doing very well, those laws, those regulations.
It does indeed. Less drama this time, just disinviting you. It is such a pity, and thanks for talking to us, Bettina. And I admire your bravery and just still trying to get out there and talk about these issues.
Oh, look, I'm doing really well. I've got a blog on Substack, and I've got many, many thousands of supporters, people constantly contacting me saying, how can they help? We're going to have a big conference this year, which I'll be telling you about, Chris. Lots on my agenda. So I certainly haven't given up.
Good on you, Bettina. Thanks for joining us.